Neighbors who cross the line between friendly and frightening can make your home feel like a prison instead of a sanctuary. That eerie feeling of being watched isn't always just paranoia. Sometimes your instincts are screaming the truth that someone nearby is monitoring your daily patterns, tracking your movements, and invading your privacy in ways you might not even realize yet. In this video, I'm going to reveal 5 unmistakable signs that your nosy neighbor has crossed into concerning territory. Signs that most people overlook until it's too late. These aren't just minor annoyances, they're serious red flags that could impact your safety and peace of mind. Don't skip any parts because each sign builds on the previous one, and missing even one could leave you vulnerable. Now, let's dive right into the first major sign that your neighbor is doing more than just being nosy. Have you ever had that weird feeling when you step outside and boom, there they are, again? It's like they have some kind of sixth sense that triggers whenever your front door opens. I'm not talking about seeing your neighbor once or twice a week while you're both getting the mail. That's normal neighborhood stuff. I'm talking about those neighbors who seem to materialize out of thin air every single time you leave your house. Let me paint a picture for you. You decide to take out the trash at 10:30 p.m. on a Tuesday, not exactly prime socializing hours, and suddenly your neighbor is also just happening to check their mailbox. In the dark. For the third time today. Funny coincidence, right? Except when these coincidences happen over and over again, that's when your gut starts to whisper that something's not right. I knew someone who started noticing their neighbor would appear in their driveway within minutes of them getting home from work. At first, they thought nothing of it, just a friendly neighbor saying hello. But then it started happening when they left for work at different times, when they went for a jog at 5 a.m., even when they snuck out for a midnight ice cream run. That's not neighborly. That's the first sign that someone is tracking your comings and goings. So what can you do about it? Start by keeping a simple log. Nothing fancy, just note the date, time, and nature of these coincidental encounters. Use your phone's Notes app to jot down quick observations. After a week or two, you might start to see patterns emerge that confirm your suspicions. Technology can be your friend here too. If you have a doorbell camera or security camera, review the footage. Does your neighbor appear on camera shortly after you leave or return home? Do they seem to be lingering around your property when they think no one's watching? These cameras aren't just for catching package thieves, they're excellent tools for establishing patterns of behavior. And here's a little test you can try. Change up your routine for a few days. Leave at different times. Use different doors. See if your neighbor's behavior adjusts to match your new patterns. If it does, that's a big red flag waving in your face. Remember, the first sign that your neighbor isn't just nosy, but is actually monitoring your every move, is these too frequent, too convenient, coincidental encounters. These aren't just annoying, they're the first warning sign that your privacy might be at risk. So pay attention to those gut feelings when you see your neighbor for the third time in one day, because your instincts are probably trying to tell you something important. Now, the second sign your neighbor might be watching your every move is something that hits close to home in our digital age. In today's world, surveillance doesn't require specialized equipment anymore. A simple smartphone can capture conversations from surprising distances. Home security cameras can be positioned to record more than just the owner's property. Think about it. Have you noticed a neighbor's security camera that seems to be pointed directly at your front door instead of theirs? Or maybe their doorbell camera that somehow has a perfect view of your living room window? The emotional toll of discovering you're being watched is devastating. One woman shared how she felt increasingly anxious and couldn't understand why until she realized her neighbor's new bird-watching camera was actually monitoring her garden and back porch. The realization that someone had been watching her private moments left her unable to feel comfortable in her own home for months. To protect yourself, take a careful look at your surroundings. Walk around your property and observe what cameras might have a view of your private spaces. Look for unusual devices mounted on fences, trees, or eaves. Check if there are any small objects that seem out of place. Modern surveillance devices can be as small as a button. Your digital world needs protection too. Unusual Wi-Fi networks that appear and disappear can be signs of someone trying to intercept your data. Names like FBI surveillance van might seem like jokes, but unknown networks with strong signals that show up when you're home deserve your attention. Strange electronic behavior can also be a warning sign. Does your phone battery drain unusually fast? Do your smart home devices act erratically, turning on or off without commands? These could be indicators that someone is interfering with or accessing your devices. One particularly troubling sign is when your neighbors seem to know about your online activities. If they mention a purchase you made online or reference something you only discussed over the phone, that should raise immediate concerns. This isn't coincidence. It's evidence that your digital privacy has been compromised. Take steps to secure your home network by changing default passwords, enabling WPA3 encryption if available, and regularly updating your router's firmware. Consider using a VPN for sensitive online activities. And remember to check your smart home device's access logs to see if any unknown devices have connected to them. The violation of digital privacy cuts deeper than many people realize because it happens in the spaces where we feel most secure. When someone watches through technology, they're not just observing your actions, they're invading your sense of safety and personal freedom. This isn't just uncomfortable, it's a clear sign that boundaries have been crossed in ways that can have lasting emotional impacts. Now, the third sign your neighbor is watching your every move is when they seem to have access to a mysterious information database that has your entire life catalogued in perfect detail. It's like they've been studying you more closely than your own mother ever did. Have you ever had that spine-tingling moment when your neighbor casually mentions something you never told them? Maybe they ask how your sister's new job in Phoenix is going, but you never mentioned your sister moved to Phoenix. Or they comment on the expensive shoes you ordered online last week that haven't even arrived yet. These aren't just friendly inquiries, they're major red flags that someone is crossing serious privacy boundaries. There's a world of difference between a neighbor who notices your new haircut and one who knows you got it at 2:30 p.m. on Tuesday and paid with your Visa card. The first is observant. The second is monitoring your life in ways that should make anyone uncomfortable. Want to know if your neighbor is actively gathering information about you? Try this simple test. Mention something false but believable within earshot of your home, like plans for a vacation you're not actually taking. If your neighbor later references those fake plans, you've just confirmed they're eavesdropping on your conversations. Pay special attention to neighbors who ask seemingly innocent questions that build a detailed picture of your schedule. Might seem friendly, but when combined with, "When does your husband get home?" and "Do your kids have activities after school?" they're mapping out exactly when your house is empty. The right amount of information sharing builds community. The wrong amount builds a security threat. Normal neighbors might know you have a dog. Concerning neighbors know your dog walker comes at 2 p.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays and uses the spare key under the blue flower pot. To protect your personal information, be mindful of what you discuss near open windows or in outdoor spaces. If you're experiencing this third sign, it's time to seriously evaluate your information security. Start being more strategic about what you share and with whom. Create some information boundaries and watch closely who respects them and who tries to cross them. This kind of neighbor isn't just curious. They're invading your privacy in ways that can have serious consequences for your security and peace of mind. Now, the fourth sign that your neighbor is watching your every move is something you can actually see with your own eyes. physical evidence that someone has been paying way too much attention to your property. This isn't just about feeling watched. It's about finding concrete proof that someone has been observing or even entering your personal space. What makes this sign so emotionally jarring is that it represents a physical violation of the boundary between your private space and the outside world. When someone moves your things or leaves evidence of their presence, they're not just being nosy, they're invading the sanctuary of your home. Pay close attention to your mail and packages. Have you noticed that your mail seems to have been opened and then poorly resealed? Are packages appearing in different positions than where delivery people typically leave them? These subtle changes can indicate that someone is monitoring your communications and possibly gathering personal information. Windows and blinds tell their own story too. If you leave your home with the blinds positioned in a certain way and return to find them slightly different, someone may have been peering into your home. This kind of discovery can leave you feeling exposed and vulnerable in the place where you should feel most secure. One particularly effective way to confirm your suspicions is to set up what security experts call telltales, simple traps that reveal if someone has been in your space. Place a small piece of clear tape between your door and the frame that breaks when the door opens. Put a tiny piece of paper in your door jamb that falls when the door is opened. These simple measures can confirm whether someone is entering your home when you're away. If you do find evidence of intrusion, documentation becomes crucial. Take dated photos of any evidence. Keep a detailed log of what you've noticed and when. This information can be invaluable if you ever need to involve authorities or seek legal protection. The emotional weight of discovering physical evidence of monitoring can be overwhelming. It's not just about the practical security concerns, it's about the deep violation of trust and personal boundaries that should exist between neighbors. This kind of discovery can fundamentally alter how safe you feel in your own home. What makes this sign particularly troubling is that it often escalates from other, more subtle signs. A neighbor who starts with coincidental encounters may progress to technological surveillance and then to physical monitoring. Recognizing these patterns early can help you protect yourself before the situation worsens. Remember, being aware doesn't mean becoming paranoid. The goal isn't to suspect everyone around you, but to recognize genuine warning signs when they appear. Trust your instincts. If something feels wrong, if items are moved, if things aren't how you left them, your subconscious might be picking up on important cues that your conscious mind hasn't fully processed yet. This fourth sign represents a significant escalation in boundary-crossing behavior. Physical evidence of monitoring indicates that your neighbor's interest has moved beyond curiosity into potential obsession, a development that deserves your serious attention and appropriate action. Now, the fifth and final sign that your neighbor isn't just nosy, but is actually watching your every move, is perhaps the most important one to recognize, because it signals when curiosity has transformed into something potentially dangerous that requires immediate action. I need you to take a moment right now to think about interactions you've had with neighbors that left you feeling uneasy. Did you dismiss that feeling, telling yourself you were overreacting? Many of us do. We ignore our instincts because we don't want to seem rude or paranoid. But those instincts evolved over thousands of years to protect us from threats, and they're worth listening to. The situation escalated until the neighbor was entering their home when they were away. Each step seemed only slightly worse than the last, making it hard to know when to take action, until it was almost too late. When a neighbor's behavior shifts from observation to obsession, you'll notice they no longer respect any boundaries. They might start testing your limits, entering your yard without permission, touching your belongings, or showing up at your workplace unannounced. These aren't just annoying behaviors, they're warning signs that the situation could become dangerous. Pay particular attention to neighbors who try to isolate you from others in the community. They might spread rumors about you to other neighbors or try to position themselves as your protector or closest friend. This manipulation is designed to make it harder for you to seek help if their behavior worsens. Another serious red flag is when a neighbor seems to react to your private plans or decisions before you've announced them publicly. If they know you're planning to go out of town before you've told anyone, or if they comment on personal decisions you've made in private, it suggests they have access to information they shouldn't have, and that's when it's time to take action. Documentation becomes crucial at this stage. Record every interaction, no matter how small. Note dates, times, what was said or done, and how it made you feel. This record can be invaluable if you need to seek help from authorities or pursue legal protection. Speaking of legal protection, know your options. Restraining orders, cease and desist letters, and anti-stalking laws exist to protect you from exactly this kind of escalating behavior. Don't hesitate to contact local law enforcement if you feel unsafe. Their job is to help in situations like this. Consider reaching out to trusted friends or family members who can support you through this difficult situation. Sometimes an outside perspective can help confirm that what you're experiencing isn't normal and deserves attention. Remember that addressing this kind of behavior isn't about being confrontational. It's about protecting your safety and peace of mind. You have the right to feel secure in your home and neighborhood. Taking action when you notice these escalation signs isn't an overreaction. It's a necessary response to behavior that has crossed the line from annoying to potentially dangerous. The progression from curiosity to obsession rarely happens overnight. It builds gradually, which is why recognizing these escalation signs early is so important. By identifying when a neighbor's behavior has crossed into concerning territory, you can take appropriate steps to protect yourself and your loved ones before the situation becomes more serious. Now that you've learned all 5 major signs that your neighbor isn't just nosy, but is actually watching your every move, you're equipped with knowledge that most people simply don't have. You can now spot the difference between genuine coincidences and orchestrated encounters, identify technological surveillance, recognize when someone knows too much about your personal life, detect physical evidence of monitoring, and identify when a situation has escalated to the point of needing immediate action. Remember, awareness is your greatest defense. By combining digital security measures, physical protection strategies, and legal knowledge, you've created a comprehensive shield against intrusive neighbors. Don't underestimate the power of community either. Trusted neighbors can be invaluable allies in maintaining your privacy and security. The goal isn't to live in fear, but to reclaim your sense of security and peace of mind. Those who ignore these warning signs after understanding them are essentially inviting trouble into their lives. Why would you leave your door unlocked when you know there's a potential threat? Similarly, why would you dismiss these clear warning signs now that you know what they mean? Your home should be your sanctuary, a place where you feel safe and protected. You deserve that peace of mind, and now you have the tools to maintain it.